When risk returns very, very quickly back into the market. So in today's show, we're going to have a look at, is now the time to look at getting back into the market? Is it time to start buying again? What exactly should you expect next for the short and medium time frame of the crypto markets? Because a lot of the coins doing very, very well, right? If you look at the daily over here, pretty big moves. A lot of them almost putting in double-digit gains on the daily time frame. Hourly, slight pullback over there. Weekly, still looking relatively good. You got Phantom up in the double digits, 𝗬𝗓 up, Mantra, Fetch AI, say a whole lot of different coins. TON as well, up 17.4% on the weekly time frame. Let's have a look at the monthly. Monthly, also some of them even reaching close towards those triple digit gains. So we have a whole lot to look at in today's show. Make sure you smash the like button, hit the bell notification, and subscribe to the channel. And let's get straight into the show content because, of course, yesterday we had the CPI inflation data coming out, and it came out pretty much exactly as what was expected. Another drop in that CPI data. Previous was 2.9%. They expected that it was going to be 2.5% year on year, and that's exactly what it came out as. Well, later on today as well, same time as yesterday's results were released, which is going to be 4:30 my time, we do have the PPI data, which is coming out as well. This may slightly adjust and affect what the probabilities of the next interest rate hike will be, or at least cut should be. And currently it's being priced in at 87% probability that it will just be 125 basis point interest rate cut, and we'll see how the market adjusts and into that. That is coming in on the 18th of September. Historically, these have marked major pivotal points within the market cycles where you tend to find some sort of a trend reversal. So it could be the point in time where the market does start to price in risk once again and start to pivot back towards the upside. Well, we're also looking at the DXY, which is pushing straight into the trend line over here today. Let's see if we can start to get a meaningful breakdown from this level. We are still viewing this as macro distribution on the DXY, that being the dollar index. Remember, when the dollar index drops down sharply, this is historically where you see your biggest bull runs within crypto. And when it bottoms, that's where you usually see the top of the crypto cycles. And right now we're looking at distribution and not reaccumulation. The CPI inflation results, which came in, were taken pretty well by the stock market, putting in a bit of a bounce over here. It's not yet enough to fully break out towards new all-time highs yet, but as it currently stands, at least holding up. And that's what we spoke about, is it's a time of survival for the bulls, right? The bulls are going to look to survive September, commonly also known as Rectember, right? It's common that within September, seasonality wise, we tend to find major bottoms within the market, and October things continue onwards and upwards. So Nvidia holding one of the biggest weightings when it comes to the S&P 500 in the stock market. You can see this is the chart over here, still floating onwards and upwards, very, very strong, higher highs and high lows. Well, you have one lower high, but higher lows in the making over there. If you look at Apple as well, still looking strong, a lower high, but putting in higher lows. If we look at Tesla over here, we're also observing this caught within this parallel channel coming towards the downside. I'm personally looking for at least a decent zone. If it comes into an area of interest, I'm willing to allocate into Tesla for the long term. I'm looking for something like this towards that 150 region. So that's the stocks over there, but the interest is still very, very dead and flat within the crypto markets from a retail perspective. There's no retail interest in the markets, barring the select few of you here that continue to come and watch the shows each and every day. This is why you'll probably be part of the top 1%, right? When it comes towards the end of the cycle, you've been here for a long time, you've been sticking it out, and consequently you will be rewarded for that. So if you look at this, YouTube views continue to drop. If you do want to help me out and the channel out, smash the like button. We did hit 1 million subscribers. So if you're not subscribed, join the 1 million strong. Subscribe to the channel, and we try to bring you crypto love, wisdom, and alpha each and every single day. So still waiting for this to tick towards the upside, but we've seen some interesting signs in terms of the open interest data, specifically on Bitfinex, which I'll touch on in just a moment. We said really all that it's about over here in September is survival. And the reason why is because September historically is the worst month, right? You can see all the way from 2013 up to 2024, there were only 3 Septembers that were actually green. And of those 3 Septembers that were green, they were very marginally green, with 2% in 2015, 6% in 2016, and 3.9% in 2023. So red Septembers are usually for buying. It creates a wonderful opportunity to look to buy the dip, to establish your long-term positions, which you can then hold into the following quarter, which is quarter 4, which is typically typically your strongest quarter of the year. And not only that, but especially when you isolate it to the halving cycles or post-halving, which is highlighted in the black boxes over here, then you can see you have a 100% hit rate, right? If you isolate to post-halving, that's where your bull runs take place, at least the retail bull run, where the masses come back and we see the YouTube views tick on back towards the upside like we have seen in the prior times. And we're expecting that this should overtake what we saw at the peak of 2021, especially since the predominant means of information consumption nowadays is through at least visual content, right? Video format content. We expect that those numbers should go up higher. And this shows you retail are not here yet, but they will be coming back. And they're most likely coming back in this October, November, December period. And then we will see if we'll get the continuation. So when you're seeing negative funding into this type of environment from a seasonality perspective, it does present a wonderful opportunity. There it is on the bottom of the screen, the little red histograms over there. We are printing negative on the funding rates over there, meaning most of the market are looking to go short. And here you can see it. If we look at the futures open interest, the open interest has been flushed ever since the highs over there. But we spoke about this, I think it was yesterday or the day before, when we remove those and we simply just isolate to Bitfinex, it's told a different picture, right? Bitfinex whales, which is where a lot of the whales are, by the way, that's why we isolate to Bitfinex, has slowly but surely been trending towards the upside, just grinding along over there. And that might be an early sign of what's to come next. Are they the market leaders? Do Bitfinex tend to lead the moves? Well, if you look over here at the exact top, Bitfinex were selling, right? That's where they started to sell. Let's put the rest of them on, see what that looked like over there. And you can see a lot of the other retail markets were still buying into that peak over there while Bitfinex was coming down. So it may be a little bit of a leading indicator. Is the bull market top in? Well, another thing that we spoke about is a couple of months ago is at least looking at the RSI and the at least declining trend line that you have marked off over here. We usually see those major peaks occur within the bull run, the peak euphoria phase where retail comes back in full force. That typically occurs when the RSI is breaking above 80. We haven't even seen the RSI reach into the 80-point zone on the monthly scale over here for Bitcoin. And it's actually, in fact, all the way trending down back to 59, while the moving average is at 62, still trending towards the upside, creating a much needed reset in order to create the platform and the springboard to move into the next phase of the bull run, which should come, as mentioned, towards sometime next year. And specifically, I'm timing and looking for a top between the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter of 2025. So that's that over there. Fear and greed in alignment with that negative funding, showing pessimism within the market, still at 31 despite the current levels that we're at within the market. You have Bitcoin mining difficulty increasing towards the upside over there, also now readjusting, right? So the difficulty has risen. Remember, that's the way that the protocol works. It adjusts depending on how many of the miners are profitable or not. And this has gone to an all-time high of 92.7 trillion in terms of the difficulty, 573 on the hash rate over there. And typically that's what you see, right? Post-halving, here's our yellow lines. Post-halving is where we get those parabolic moves, right? There's your second halving, parabolic move. Third halving, parabolic move. Fourth halving, this time is deviating ever so slightly, right? The differences between this cycle and the prior cycles is that we already made all-time highs before the halving actually took place, and consequently, we're slowly starting to come down. So when you analyze and you look at the return on investment of this cycle, which is the green line over here, in comparison to the previous cycles, which is cycle 3 and 2, which we're tracking most similar to, well, where are we at? We are significantly underperforming post-halving. But if you have a look at the return on investment from pretty much the cycle bottom, then we are pretty much on track, right? We've spoken about this a whole lot. We're currently following, in this instance, the purple line. In that regard, we're on track, right? So because we had a major move up, creating all-time highs before the halving cycle, it's not surprising that we draw down a little bit, mean revert a little bit to reset things, and then look for reaccumulation after the halving, where we can snap back in line with at least these price cycles. And you can see following the post-halving, this is where things start to get exciting, right? Around that 188, 190-day mark is where things really start to move up. And that final phase post-halving from 400 on towards the end over there is where it gets mass acceleration. And that's where retail adoption comes back into the market. And that's where the frenzy takes place. All altcoins are rallying to new heights and you're looking for higher prices. So we're looking at this as a major inflection point. This still remains at least the thesis that at some point within this yellow zone over here, we should start to mark up, and we are slowly starting to see it. Remember, we do have the presence of at least if we're giving the bulls the benefit of the doubt over here, we have a marginal higher low in the making. So what does that mean? What should you do? As per the title of today's show, is it time to start buying Bitcoin and crypto again? And you got to be quick, right? Well, you don't have to be too quick. You can take a little bit of time, because if you're really conservative, you would simply wait for a break of structure, which would mean clearing out this high over here. You're looking for price to push up, and you would patiently wait for things to come back. I know that the psychology in that moment would feel like prices are just going to rip like this straight to $150,000, but it's unlikely to be the case. Remember, the market does move in ebbs and flows. So you create the higher low. If you're an aggressive trader, well, you would be buying this higher low with a stop loss underneath the wick over there, looking for higher prices. If you're conservative, simply just wait to print the higher high, show the trend shift. You come back into the third higher low, and that's going to be your opportune moment. Means you'll probably be buying just a little bit higher than where we're currently at, but with safety and confirmation. Now, your only job is, once you establish those positions, to literally just sit on your hands. You establish your long-term positions within this phase of the market cycle. And as per what I've showcased over here, you pretty much just need to sit on your hands and enjoy the ride. Now, I've spoken about this a whole lot before. The scammers will come in full force, guys. Exchanges do go down towards the end of the bull runs. Please keep in mind, you want to keep your crypto safe. One way that you can do it, and this is definitely a proud partnership personally, is Ledger, something I can stand behind full-heartedly. Use the link in the description below if you do want to get a bit of a bonus over there. They do give you some Bitcoin on the Ledger if you use that particular link below. I actually have my Ledger stacks, which is going to be arriving either today or tomorrow. So I'll be able to give you a physical demonstration on it. But at the very, very least, you need to at least have one of these, right? At least have one of these ledgers over here, the Nano Ledger or Nano S Plus. If you have anything more than a few $1,000s, you don't want to be leaving that on an exchange. Protect your capital, right? Definitely protect your capital. Use that link that's below for Ledger so that you can get the little bit of a bonus over there. Now, in alignment with everything that we're looking at over here, which is the yellow zone, is the inflection point. We can also see the BBWP, which is now recontracting back towards the downside. I've also highlighted the significance of this yellow zone. You can see this was the prior all-time highs where we had the double top scenario in 2021. We came back up over here, failed to get above that level, came back down, and now we attempted, failed, and we're still struggling. Once you eventually flip this level, which is going to be most specifically $65,000, what's interesting about that 65K level is it's what I just showed you over here, right? You're simply waiting for the break of structure above these lower highs over here on the left-hand side. So as soon as you can take out that level, which is coming in at that 65K level, well, simultaneously, you'll be creating your first higher high, shifting the structure towards the upside. And on top of that, you'll be reclaiming the top side. And if you can flip this level, this is going to be incredibly bullish. You're going to start to see a lot of traders and analysts come out with charts like this, where they're talking about, as opposed to the deviation towards the downside, they're now going to be looking at this as a deviation towards the upside. The other important thing to note over here is currently the massive cup and handle formation at play. And these are somewhat reliable, right? In terms of you have a perfect rounded bottom over here. You're currently forming the handle. This could come as low as sub $50,000 and it would still meet the requirements of the handle, right? Now, the measured move off of this is going to be very, very significant. So I'll just outline what could potentially be in play. Now, if we measure conservatively, we won't even take this measured move all the way to the exact top of the neckline, which is actually what you should be doing. But let's go conservatively, and we say over here that we do start to break out above that 65K level. Where would this take us once we confirm the next higher high on Bitcoin following the first higher low, which is what we currently have? Well, you'd be looking at a Bitcoin price of $107,000. And remember what I said, risk returns into the market very, very quickly. And if you don't believe me and you don't want to take my word for it, all you have to do is go and look back at the prior cycles of what's happened when you have rapid expansion. What's interesting over here is the profile of the BBWP, Bollinger Band width percentile. This is when Bitcoin was trading all the way back down at about $10,000. We came off incredibly low volatility. We were heading towards the upside. We came back down, recontracted into that zone. And again, when you line up where you are post-halving, it was also in a similar time period. And this is what happened next, right? And remember, just keep that in the back of your mind as one message that I would leave with you, is that risk returns very, very quickly back into the markets when it does. So watch for the recontraction on the BBWP, similar to what we saw in 2020. Watch for the breakout of this level over here by creating a higher high and high low, flipping this key zone into support, and then you onwards and upwards, right? So very, very important information, but there's always risk factors at play, like the stablecoin dominance, right? Stablecoin dominance continues to rise in the presence of Bitcoin price, creating lower lows and lower highs. And until this starts to drop down, then Bitcoin will struggle, right? Because if stablecoin dominance is going up, it means that people are having a flight to safety. They view stablecoins as the safe play. Remain in stablecoins until there's a shift in structure. And when there is, and you see the stablecoin dominance flush towards the downside, well, that's where you see the big moves, right? Look at this over here. You can see stablecoin dominance falling all the way, flushing towards the downside in the purple as per my cursor. What happens to Bitcoin price? Rips towards the upside. What's happening right now? Well, stablecoin dominance is busy rising over here in a bullish trend, and therefore Bitcoin is in a bearish trend. So that's what we're looking at. Again, getting above 65K level also gets you above the 21 EMA, and there you can see the handle formation without a line chart on candlestick. In terms of candlesticks, we can also see that you have the stochastic RSI all the way reaching back down to the bottom. We spoke about this all week. Go look back at any of the other prior videos if you want the results of what happens following that RSI reset, stochastic RSI reset, right? Price on the daily time frame is above the pivot level. That simply means your RSI is now trending back towards the upside on the daily, and that could have implications if it continues to flip the weekly stochastic RSI back up, and that's where these figures come into play, right? So we're waiting for that, still patient over there. And what we spoke about is survival. It all comes down to survival. That's what the bulls will be looking for, right? Is surviving September to just hold price up with a higher low into the fourth quarter, into October. And that's where we start to see things move and reposition towards the upside. We are reclaiming over here back above the 9 and the 18 exponential moving average. And we'll get into the altcoins in a bit, because there is a lot of altcoins that look like they're about to break out of their falling wedge formations. They come into very, very tight apexes and into key areas of horizontal support simultaneously. So we have good trades on the table. So stay till the end. I'll give that to you in a moment. And if you want that as well, guys, smash the like button. So we spoke about this. We said that the high probability players that you probably continue to chop around this 50K zone into October, or at least not into October, but the third week, I would say, of September, which is about another week to go. And then in October, bulls have their chance of pushing up into new highs. So that's currently the picture. That's exactly what's been taking place over here. And on your 4-hour time frame, we had multiple candle closes above the 50 EMA, which now means you can make an attempt at the 200. Getting above that means you'll simultaneously break above the 9 and the 18 EMA, crossing that hopefully bullish, and then you have a chance at taking out the 65K level. Again, it all depends on your risk profile. How risky are you? Are you risk adverse, or are you risk seeking? If you're risk seeking, you should be bidding like crazy over here with stop losses below and trailing those stops. If you're risk averse and you're a safe-minded person that wants to wait for confirmations, you are waiting for that. It's as simple as that. I think I made it crystal clear. I see the comments, guys. I read the comments before the shows and after the shows, and I see the confusion in there, like comments like flip-flop banter and things like that. I think I made it crystal clear. I can't make it any more clear. I don't know if you want me to write on a chart, A equals this, B equals that. These are your optionalities. A is you're bidding now if you're an aggressive trader. B is you're conservative and you're waiting for clearance of 65,000 to flip trend back up. I can't make it any more clear than that. All right, let's continue on over here. So ETH BTC in the falling wedge formation coming into horizontal. This is the similar picture or parallel to what we're seeing in the whole altcoin sector. Prices coming into those levels. Therefore, you may actually start to see some of these alts break out. Now, in Whale Room, I gave a whole bunch of different trade opportunities a couple of days ago. Here they are, and we'll look at where they're at now. So Casper up a lot. You're in profit if you took this trade over here. Rio or Realio, which is simply the real world asset play over there. We're in major profit over here. This is quite a big move. This one's about to break out. I think it could break out today. We'll have a look at that. Again, still remember, risk remains. This is for risky traders. For risk adverse people, it is still kind of risky to be taking these trades because theoretically you're still in a downtrend. Lithium pretty much capped at the same place. If you look at the live chart, I'm just sharing this from actual Whale Room in terms of the trades that I dropped in there. Injective is now pushing the top side of this falling wedge formation, looking to break back into the horizontal trading range as well simultaneously. So when we looked at this was around 1650. We'll look at NEAR. I don't know where NEAR is. We'll have to go check that one out. EOS, we'll also look at EOS. Brett, triple bullish divergence. This one's also starting to push up a little bit. Would be good to see a move from there. Ponky, also bullish divergence coming into a horizontal level, but still downtrending. And then we had Myro, also at a key level, bullish divergence and starting to push up over there. So Jasmy, same thing, falling wedge into horizontal support, looking for a move. So those are some of the trades. If you guys want this stuff, remember, look, I drop all of these things way ahead of time. This was dropped on the 9th, so a couple of days ago. And had you taken that, you would be in profit. You would be in profit. Look there. There is the Casper trade, right? Casper trade is up significantly. Let's look at the Rio trade just to quickly see how far are we on that particular trade. This one could be breaking out today. So had you taken that trade with us in Whale Room, this trade is already up 30%. And just can you imagine what comes next? This is the conservative target to about 145. This can easily rip all the way up to the $2 region on Rio. So those are some of the things that I'm looking at over there. We'll get into the altcoin sector in just a moment because there is a lot going on. You can see over here, Sol showing a lot of strength right ahead of the Breakpoint conference, which is about to come up. You're seeing massive increases in active addresses. It's pretty much going parabolic. We're also seeing over here that Solana's reached on all-time high of $7.6 million in terms of Solana that's locked on chain. So some healthy signs over there, but Solana price has not necessarily moved yet, right? So if we go up to Solana, let's quickly see where Solana at. Solana pretty much still capped around that range low level. So this is a significant zone. Let's see what sort of announcements come out of the Breakpoint conference. The fact that it's at support leading into the Breakpoint conference leads me to believe that, maybe this won't be a buy the rumor, sell the news on the announcements or sell the announcement event, that things will actually go up off of that. They're going to be talking about FireDance and a whole bunch of things over there. If, however, price was pushing up into resistance into the conference, then I would say that, maybe that's where you need to be a bit cautious, because I do believe that the charts do show you what should be coming next, right? And at the end of the day, this is major support for Solana. The other one that I wanted to have a look at over here is, of course, A0, right? Because picture perfect falling wedge formation coming into the apex of that. We've already started to break out on it. Also, you have the bullish power of 3 at play. Remember, this is one of the first EVM compatible super chains linked up with ZK Sync. If that whole ETH sector starts to run, this will be viewed as an L2 at least higher beta play that could pump, right? It's going to trade similar to ETH BTC that starts to break out over here. And just picture perfect in the sense that you got the power of 3 falling wedge formation over here. At it just looks pretty clean. So I'm waiting for confirmation in the form of high highs and high lows on A0. I do think that is one to watch. Let's look at 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓. We said we'll check that one out. So here's 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓. Okay, also like a lot of the coins over there, it is printing that high low. So potential high low in the making. You also do have a massive W formation. If you do break above the neckline, at that point, you're already leaving the falling wedge over here. And that's where you start to see prices move up. We lined it up with a strong horizontal, but no guarantee that you're going to get something like that, right? For something like that to happen, Bitcoin would have to go down a lot. 𝗬𝗓 has been one that we've been explicitly bullish on over here, pushing up, trying to reclaim that key level at the moment. So that's looking good. 𝗖 also not looking too bad. I can see high lows in the making over here for 𝗖. You got there possible even inverse head and shoulders, breaking the long-term downsloping trend line. Most important thing is you have a higher high and you have a high low. So low, higher high, higher low, and therefore you're looking for trend continuation over here. Possible reversals, right? These are the signs that we're starting to see in the markets that there is a chance. The question and the tricky part is you always have to identify, is it truly a reversal that's going to lead into a trending move, or are you simply just chopping about within a range whereby therefore it could be confusing, right? But at the end of the day, that's what trading is about, is you taking a chance over here at the next higher low, stop losses go below, and if it trades up into a higher high, but it rejects off the top side, then you can say, okay, you know what, maybe this is more respecting the range as opposed to the trend, but you've taken the chance, you've elevated your stop into profit, and you have absolutely nothing to lose. And if it creates the next high low, and it does become a strong trending move, now you are on the train before it leaves the station, right? As opposed to trying to catch the train as it's leaving, and then you miss the train and it's over. These are important considerations, right? Okay, quick mention and opportunity for those of you out there, if you do want some free 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗏 coin. This is an initiative with CoinW. They're giving you an opportunity to get 50,000 or a share of $50,000 and 50 million 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗏 coins, right? So what do you have to do? You pretty much sign up using the link below, deposit $100. They're going to give you a 5% super bonus rebate on top of that. All the T's and C's are listed below over there. So you can get up to a $500 reward, and then you can trade with that. All the T's and C's are listed. So just read that over there. If you take, the more trades you take, basically, the more of the 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗏 coins and the stable coins you'll receive in return for your efforts. All right, let's go into some chart requests. I see PopCat. So we have some requests in the meme coin sector. Let's have a look at PopCat over here. Okay, PopCat up 5%. Still one of the stronger ones, right? Remember, the majority of our buys were down here and again down here, and we didn't quite get into the third zone over there, but my bags are packed, so I'm okay. And here it is, consolidating at this level. Let's see if we can start to break up. These are pretty aggressive. So it's very hard to trade something like this with a stop loss. This is more, you're playing it in alignment with the risk curve. So when the market is risk off, these things will underperform. And when the market moves to the far right side into a risk on environment, and you've stacked this all the way at the bottom, then it's guaranteed that your bags are going to pump, right? So that's kind of the way that I've played this particular one. We still use the TA, higher lows in the making, still have lower highs though. Something to watch over there. Let's see, bonk. Okay, bonk, also falling wedge formation, approaching the major support over there. Brett. Okay, how's Brett doing? Okay, I like yesterday's candle. Yesterday's candle looking strong as a bit of a reversal over here, possibly a springboard to get prices higher. You do still have the triple bullish divergence taking place between price and the momentum oscillator, right? Higher highs on momentum oscillator, lower lows on price over there. Okay, what other ones should we have a look at over here? Let's see. Other ones on our radar have been MOG. Let's check out MOG. Okay, still not too clean. I think this one needs a little bit more time to unfold over there. So that's MOG. Ponky, how's Ponky doing? Okay, same place pretty much as when I shared in the Discord, holding at that horizontal level. Usually the market needs to be in a risk-on environment with Bitcoin putting in high highs and high lows for people to be confident to be bidding these meme coins. Myro, all the way at the bottom over there, still at the trend line that's running towards the downside, meeting up with the horizontal area. Okay, what else have we got? WIF. We can look at WIF. I know WOOF has underperformed for quite some time. So this is what we've been watching. Lower lows and lower highs. That was the validation to flip bullish that I gave to 𝗲𝗏. The new level is going to be there, right? So you can, as you continue to put in lower highs, you change the invalidation or validation level depending on whether you're bullish or bearish. That's now flipped to $1.78. If WOOF can break above that, you're breaking the downsloping trend line, you're creating a higher high, and it will be looking good. At the end of the day, you do still have high lows in the making, but this could be, corrective in the sense that you're still downtrending, but you're corrective with a little bit of, upside momentum for shorts to load up again and go down. So you do have to be careful of that. Certain coins, you really should be waiting for confirmation. Okay, let's go to, I see Cardano is one of the requests, pushing towards the top of the downsloping trend line over there. Also, a little bit of a falling formation. This one's kind of sloppy, but it does kind of meet the criteria, and it is coming into horizontal support over there. So that's one to watch. Atom, is it still looking as bad as it was? Yes, it is. Atom looks absolutely terrible. Does it look so terrible that we should buy it? No. That's the simple answer. It's that bad. I wouldn't buy this. I'd wait maybe if it sweeps down into 235. We'll see what happens over there. Phantom, let's see what's the progress on Phantom. Okay, Phantom, let's see. Okay, Phantom. We were looking at an inverse head and shoulder. It needs to break above the neckline. So still need a little bit of patience over here. You have had a big move up. This creates a bit of a fair value gap. You might come down into, around this 44.6 to 44.8 into that region to fill some of that inefficiency. But at the end of the day, if you're bullish, you're probably hoping that this is the right shoulder and that you're going to break above the neckline. Hold that at 55 cents as support, which is your neckline, and then continue on up. All right. Okay, I see there is a question around mini. I actually just looked at that. My chart was on it just before the show. So here's the range for mini. I said this one's been kind of tough to trade because the only two clear levels that you have to work with is the range high, which is at 0.0298, and you have the range low at 0.0023. And you have to pretty much wait for one of those levels to get hit. You can subdivide this into, range, mid-ranges and range quarterlies, etc. At which point you can say, well, we're hitting resistance right now coming into the mid-range. So that is mini. I do hold mini. This is part of my meme coin portfolio personally. It's just a question of whether it comes down here and I add more into the mini position. So I do hold mini. All right, let's look at render. There is a question on render. I want to look at the old render. It's still trading. It's just got more price history. So let's go to that one. I think we have both over there. Okay, let's click that out. There we go. So last time we looked at render, we said it was just a sloppy chart, very, very difficult to trade at the moment, but it is kind of putting in a high low, and I would still maintain what I said before. It's very, very sloppy. I would have to wait for cleaner price action. It's kind of difficult to, make an analysis on this. The last we spoke about it, we said in a worst case scenario, maybe you come down to 372, which is 50% of that wick to fill some of that inefficiency. But that would be quite far down, right? That would mean it has to drop close to 30%, which is pretty significant. Okay, let's see, Lithium. Okay, so there's a Lithium capped right at the major support, downsloping trend line, higher lows, no higher highs yet. That's one to keep an eye out on. Okay, TON. Let's quickly see TON. How's TON doing? Still lower lows and lower highs. We said be careful of the golden pocket, which is going to be the 618 to 65 fib level. That's coming in at a price point of $6.18 to 6.27 cents. So as price moves into there, just be careful of a lower high. Also, this one might need a bit of time to just reset within the market. Gaming sector. We can have a look at the gaming sector, but my best guess is that it's absolutely wrecked still. So we'll go to some of the bigger names like Prime. Let's have a look at Prime. So that was the level to clear. Last time I did a show with Hustle, that was pretty much what I said to him. You are coming into major support. But I said most likely bet is this is going to range for quite some time. So Prime probably ranges between $5.40 and almost $10. So about 100% range. Okay, Vulcan Forge. Also coming into major support down here. Let's see. You need to reclaim that. So you need to reclaim this and start to shift the trend. That's just been dropping hard. Naka, same thing, right? Coming off a strong downtrend, it's going to need time. These gaming coins are probably going to take, you know, anywhere between 3 and 6 months to range and consolidate between their two levels, which on this one is 60 cents and on the top side is 120. So it looks like most of them have about 100% range that they're going to create, where they're just going to bounce around within those levels. We can look at 𝗕𝗓𝗘. What is it? It's S Fund, I think. S Fund. Let's just see. Do I have S Fund over here yet? I do. It is here. All right. S Fund coming straight into support. So to compare to the other ones, if this were to form a range bound environment, you know, that's kind of what I'm looking at. Let's see percentage wise, is it also 100? So a lot of them you can see close to 100%. That's 95% range. And that's what my expectation would be, is that a lot of these gaming sector coins will do things like that. I know there's questions around the NFT sector as well, so we can have a look at that. I don't know if you guys saw this, but the Ape CryptoPunk heisted for 10 ETH now has a 600 Ethereum bid on it, 590 ETH profit in an hour. If the seller will take it, and they say they doubt the seller will even take that profit. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So this is the first bit of NFT interest that's come back into the market. We'll have to have a look over here at, you know, something within the NFT sector. What do we even have? What can we even look at over here? This one is dead. X2Y2. Look at that. This is, I think Blast is also part of NFTs, right? So let's have a look at Blast. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I believe Blast is NFTs. Which one's going to have the most price history? Always 𝗕𝗓𝗄. Let's go to 𝗕𝗓𝗄. There it is. And that looks pretty wrecked to me as well. So that is your NFT sector, at least the two coins that are out there. So let's leave it at that, guys. Remember, if you do want more alpha, jump into Whale Room. Whole lot of information for you over there. Also, get yourself a ledger. Keep your crypto safe this cycle, and do not make the big mistake of getting rugged through an exchange or through, you know, some sort of a paper weird wallet. I'll see you guys all on the next show. Have a great day, and cheers for now.